Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Be That 1% podcast. Before we hop into today's episode, I want to share something that I'm really excited about and I would love your support in. Last year in October timeframe, I started reading a book and finished reading a book, 10x is easier than 2x. And that book challenged me to think of something that I had not done before that caused other projects to be put aside for this big challenging goal. And it was to create a international experience that I had not done before, all men, exclusive, invite only. And it was a stretch. It was something that I hadn't done, and I've always wanted to do it. And we landed on Costa Rica and formulated the team and got the right people involved. And it's happening in April of this year. We're currently mid-March, and with this experience, this immersive rite of passage, one of the things that I committed to long ago was to make, anytime I visit another country and specifically do work in that country, I make it a point to do some sort of charity, to give back to the lands. That's really, really important. I think most tourists or most people just kind of go and experience what that culture has to offer, and with putting a label on it, like have that take energy of, let me get. And I, having gone to Peru for the last 4 years and doing some deep charity work down there in the jungles and in Cusco, became really apparent to me that service is really important. And the older I get, the more I understand just how valuable it is. And so with Forge, the experience, that's the name of the experience in April, we are doing a charity day committed to 3 organizations that are emerging in the Costa Rica community and are rooted in initiatives that the community needs. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that real quick and share what they're up to. The first organization supports underprivileged children, and the name of this organization is called Dream Catchers. Now, these kids face immense challenges. They're growing up in poverty, violent homes, exposure to drugs and substance abuse, and these kids have very limited opportunities for self-expression, but really opportunities to get out of those environments. And so Dream Catchers provides facilities and schools where these kids can go and learn the social skills, learn the self-expression skills to not repeat the patterns of the past. And so our goal is to raise $8,500 to buy them a playground for 250 of their kids in that community, to revitalize their centers, to increase the attendance of these social skill workshops, and to really foster a culture that cares about making their future brighter than their past. And so having met the leadership team there when I was down in Costa Rica for the first time in February, they are just so heart-centered and doing incredible work on the ground level that not many people know about. And it would be amazing to continue to support their cause and their mission. The second is in regards to deforestation. In the 70s and 80s, there was a lot of farmland that was created in Costa Rica, and then they are still seeing the side effects of not having the first wall of the trees, basically, that stop a lot of the salt water from the ocean getting into the deeper jungle aspects of the community. And so they are, this organization called Costas Verdes is combating a lot of that by planting trees for a first line of defense so that the ecosystem that is being affected right now can rehab and heal and become what it used to be, right? And also to combat other deforestation efforts that are taking place across the country. They have places in North, South, and mid Costa Rica, central Costa Rica. And in researching this, I started to wonder, what role do rainforests play? I know they're critical and crucial, but really want to understand this. And rainforests in general, right? And some of the biggest rainforests are in Central and South America. They control the weather patterns and rainfall, for the world, the climate. They are home to approximately 50% of the world's plants and animals on land. They absorb massive amounts of CO2, which slows global warming and prevents sedimentation from reaching dangerous levels. And so Costas Verdes has a mission of, by the end of 2024, planting 100,000 trees. They're already at like 84,000. So to support their nurseries, to support their team in that, we want to raise $3,000 to put towards those initiatives and to help them continue their mission. And these are some really amazing individuals. And we got to see where we would be planting the trees in April and got to meet the whole team and how they grow these seeds into the trees that this community will eventually see for the next 100+ years. And then the third is Nosara Recicles. This is our most recent addition. It's the sustainable waste management solutions. And in the World Economic Forum, there was a study done that estimates that the oceans are now hold about 150 million tons of garbage. Insane. And in the province of Guanacaste, which is where we'll be in Nosara, Costa Rica, more than 122,000 people live in municipalities that do not provide garbage collection, leading to these families to, listen to this, either burn their trash, throw it into a river or a vacant lot, or take it to an open dump. And so what's cool about this organization is that in 2008, a group of local women, like in some of these areas in Costa Rica, it's very machismo kind of driven, where the man is still kind of the head household and what they say goes. And so women aren't as free to express their thoughts and views and in business as, let's say, in America or another westernized countries. And so for these women to take it upon themselves without being told, to recognize the severity of this kind of this trash and this buildup, we're like, something's got to be done. And if nothing is done about this can contaminate, our water supply. And that can lead to a whole laundry list of problems. And so they created Nosara Recicles, and they are changing the sustainable waste management in Costa Rica. And so we're volunteering with them to support and continue to support their mission of recycling plastics that they're collecting on trails, in oceans, and on the ground, and in the trash that people don't know what to do with. And they're repurposing it into art, tools, or usable kind of items that can be put back into the community, which is really, really awesome. And so our support, our donations will go towards the machinery and the manpower, woman power to run this machinery, but also to sustain their mission for the future. So our goal is to raise $2,000 at least for them to go for it to go towards that machinery and to help them further their mission. And then this is what we're doing. Like, this is what we're about. This is the level of service that we're going to be providing this go around, and would love your support. Any amount of a donation matters, $5, $10, $50, upwards of however much you feel called to give. I'm asking that if you are able to, would love your support on this. The link is in the bio, and you would be helping so many people. The ripple will be massive. So if you have any other questions, feel free to DM me, email me, and let me know. Otherwise, thank you for being here. Let's go on to the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Be That 1% podcast. I'm your host, James Silvis. Welcome to another episode here on the show. And as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your presence. I never want to assume that you're just going to show up, and I just want to express my gratitude each and every time for your awareness, right? The goal here in the podcast is really to help support, empower, challenge you to be you. We don't need any more carbon copies. We need more unique individuals with the courage to face the fear, to listen to the voice that's inside, and to pursue what they feel is in most alignment, right? There's many things that we can do, many things that we can be, but the most important thing to do and be is what you decide. That's ultimately you, and it takes a lot of responsibility to own that, but with it comes just another level of vitality that nothing else can really provide. So on the episode here today, I want to share with you 8 quotes that have shifted the way I think about things and have really supported me at multiple stages of my journey, whether it's family, business, with my relationship with my wife, Amanda, any kind of struggle, these are often ones that I'll reflect on, think about, bring back up, and they're the nudges that I need to stay on the course, right? And to really understand why I'm doing everything. And when life has that level of meaning and we have those resources in our corner, it makes it easy to stay in the direction that we're going, or to make the hard decisions that are very emotionally heavy or sometimes complex, right? These quotes have a way of putting things into perspective. At least they have for me. So I'm hoping they do the same for you. Some you may have heard, and if so, then cool, this is a great reminder. But usually when I'm searching for quotes, I like to search for ones that I haven't heard before, or are just so potent that no matter when you hear them and how much you know about them, they just hit at a different level each time. And so I may play some music here and there in between just to really drive home the point and give some cinematic feel, since learning how to use this on my Roadmaster Pro here that I'm recording this podcast on. So hopefully the music syncs up. And if any of you want to know what song is what, I can always reach out to me on Instagram or send me an email, and then we can go from there. My first quote for you today is from John C. Maxwell, and he's written, I think, over 28 books or something. And I can't remember what book this one came from, but it's what you appreciate appreciates. What you appreciate appreciates. You know, very few things can really bring the most important things to light than an abundance mindset, a gratitude mindset. And oftentimes, just the way our brains are wired, we pay attention to the negative. We're designed for survival, not for greatness, as my mentor, Dr. Mark Guadagnoli, often reminds me. And in the appreciating things is a focus of what's going right, or a focus on what's important. And when we focus on that importance, what we focus on gets stronger. The stronger we focus on something, the stronger that relationship gets. And if we're appreciating our spouses, if we're appreciating our team members, if we're appreciating ourselves, our kids, our friends, anything, anyone, if we appreciate the sun coming up every day, that we have light, that we live in, for me, a city that is sunny almost all day, every day, to appreciate the food that you eat, to your body and what it does for you, right? What you appreciate appreciates. In investing terms, what you put money into grows, compound effect, right? And so when we can appreciate more of the things that we find important, those become more important, and it shifts our priorities, it shifts our focus. And when we start focusing on more of the things that are going right, more things go right. Because the narrative in our story, in our mind, is that it's not lack, there's abundance. And when we know that there's abundance, we relax. Maybe we release control. Maybe we trust a little bit more. And a whole bunch of magic can happen from there. So what you appreciate appreciates. The second one, this one really came from people from me hearing, I just want to be happy. More times than I could tell you. What's your goal? I just want to be happy. I just want them to be happy. I want you to be happy. Happiness is all I want. And, it's natural, I think, to want that. And it's not that I'm saying happiness shouldn't be a component in your life, but happiness is such a fuzzy goal, and also an inconsistent one, because it's not something that is sustainable. Not everything in life you're going to want to be happy for. And it doesn't last, right? Think of all the things that make you happy. Food, people, opportunities, situations, achieving goals. And those moments in which those things happen, they don't last forever. So that momentary happiness that you have is fleeting, and then it's replaced by the process, the next thing that you're wanting, the challenge that just popped up in your face. And so it's like this smoke and mirrors goal that I think sets people up for misery. And so I don't want to see that anymore. And I think what is a more effective and sustainable goal is to be of purpose. Like rather than making happiness the goal, make purpose the goal. What is my purpose for my job, for my career, for my family, for my life, for this moment? And it doesn't need to be earth shattering. It doesn't need to be poetic. It doesn't need to be, when you say it, people will be like, wow, that's a great purpose. The purpose could literally just be to be present, to be of service, to listen and learn something, right? But purpose can be with you anywhere, anytime, all the time. It's just a simple reminder of being where your feet are. And the more you are here, the more you're going to experience. The more you experience, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more wisdom you can attain. The more wisdom you have, the more you can develop the discernment to know what's right, what's wrong, what's a better thing for you. There's so many things that come online when more of you is available. And if happiness is always the thing, then you're going to seek pleasure and you're not going to want to go through the pain, which is where you learn the most, to shape yourself into the version of you that you need to be to hold the thing that you're going for, or to house the relationship that you're wanting to go to a deep level with or on, right? And like happiness is just this high, how I think about it is just it's like rainbows and just sparkles, and I just want to be happy, right? It's like purpose. Purpose is with you in happiness, in pain, in fear, in courage, in emotionally unstable, uncertain situations. Purpose can be something that you can rely on, and it provides extra meaning. And with that meaning could be an extra boost of energy to get you through a hard day. It could be that thing that you go to when you want to withdraw, avoid, and run, but you stay firm and you say what you mean. Purpose. And I find that to be very, very effective. And then someone might say, well, then James, like I just don't know what my purpose is. And probably because you're overthinking it. There are several frameworks that you can use from so many different books that not knowing how to find your purpose is kind of an excuse to maybe because you're fearing choosing the wrong one. But if you came up with it and you have an emotional connection to it, it's not wrong. You get to create how you want to show up to places, right? So choose a purpose, simple, easy, emotional connection to it, and let it build from there. Your purpose may shift anyways as you grow and you have kids, or you get a different career, or you move to a different country, and you expose yourself to different elements, which I think is so, so important. A purpose might shift, it might deepen, it might expand. So just start with something and let it build rather than happiness. Okay. The third, and probably one of my favorites, is a quote by Derek Sivers, and it's on mastery. And it says, mastery is the best goal because the rich can't buy it. The impatient can't rush it. The privileged can't inherit it. And nobody can steal it. You can only earn it through hard work. Mastery is the ultimate status. Oh, so good. The rich can't buy it. The impatient can't rush it. The privileged can't inherit it. And nobody can steal it. You can't front mastery. It's the ultimate weeding out process of the people who are committed versus the people who are not committed. And that is the ultimate status. I just love that. And everyone that I've researched, studied, worked with, admired is on that path. And you don't develop mastery in 2 weeks. You don't develop mastery in 2 years. It's decades, right? And in order to be with something for decades, you got to have a strong connection to that work. Either it's a passion, there's a strong purpose, maybe associated to some pain, and you dial it in every day. And it might be boring, mundane. I do the same thing every day. If someone were to shadow you or shadow someone who is living a life of mastery, they probably wouldn't see anything sexy. They would see the same things done every day and small increments of growth each and every day. Almost maybe even like to the untrained eye, non-existent. Maybe it's just 1%, but that 1% stacked over a year, 2, 3 decade, 2 decades, night and day difference. From a musician, a business person, a communication specialist, whoever, mastery. That's the ultimate status, right? So what are you seeking mastery in? Maybe some of you have mastery in not deciding, right? But what is it? Find it, lean into it, and think long term, right? The older I get, the more I understand the value of thinking in decades, right? Thinking in decades. Everyone that I've been researching lately is, that I respect, are business individuals who have made a dent, right? Maybe not necessarily respect, but have reached high levels in their field. People like the owner of, or the co-creator of Red Bull, or Home Depot, the CEO of Home Depot, Ray Kroc from McDonald's. You have, who else was on that list? Sam Walton from Walmart. These types of individuals were all over 40 when they started their ventures. And so, like, here I am at 34, and there I was at 27, years ago, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm no one, I'm nobody, da 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 da. And I had to shift, and I keep shifting my mind to longer and longer games. Like, play the long game, trust the process. And having shifted that mindset more than one time and deepening it each year, I just find more enjoyment for the process. And it's really beautiful. And I think that I'm going to segue into the next quote here. I'm just shifting around the order because I feel like this one that I'm about to say fits in with what I just said. And I don't know who this is from, so if you know who it is, then please let me know so I can credit them. But this one says, the finish line is for the ego. The journey is for the soul. Ooh. The finish line is for the ego. The journey is for the soul. How many times have you said to yourself, I want to get to X number of dollars. I want to have X number of clients. I want to, have this really clear laid out goal by this time frame. And we try and have every part of that process mapped out, right? That's for the ego, to know when to try and control, to maybe get significance or status from the things that we're going after. That the ego wants to be seen, heard, and understood, and it needs to have a sort of control over what's going on. The journey, though, is less of all that I just mentioned. The journey is a surrendering to the direction, to the process, to the day by day. I can't see it yet, but I'm trusting that it's happening. That's for the soul. And it's in that process that the character gets formed, right? There's also another quote. This is not one of mine, but there's another quote that says, like, if you get rich fast, I'm paraphrasing. You get rich fast, you lose it. If you get rich slow, you know how to keep it. Something along those lines. But basically it's saying that, like, good things take time, right? And the journey is for the soul, in that there's something that can't be defined in the process, that isn't fully understood, that I think the soul just needs and understands to find that peace in faith and in trust. Right? Things that are really hard for all humans to do. But I loved that line. The finish line is for the ego. The journey is for the soul. All right. Next one, number 5. This one is from Einstein. And this is what this podcast is really about. There's so many people that reach out to me with suggestions on how I should do the podcast, or people who want to come on the show that are like, I could do this for you, da 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 da. And it's like, yeah, this platform is for me to live out my expression, and it's a form of staying true to me. And it doesn't mean I'm not open to listening to people or having certain individuals on the show, but like I need to feel that I'm in my own uniqueness and not just a carbon copy of what the trend is in the moment, right? And then this quote is, be a voice, not an echo. Be a voice, not an echo. How many echoes do you hear in the ethers of social media? Repackaging, repurposing, saying the same thing so-and-so said, not taking the time to look inside to build the infrastructure that can last them a lifetime, but instead taking the word of other people who have not done what other people think they have done, giving advice and convincing people that they're wrong. And it's not until you sit down with yourself to understand yourself that you can express yourself. And that's what it means to be a voice, to stand for something, not to just blend into the back, which is so easy to do and fits with our just natural design. To go to a previous point, right? We're designed for survival, not for greatness. It's easy to blend in. It's more comfortable. We don't have to confront fears. We don't have to speak. We can just observe and not ruffle feathers and stay in our cozy little comfort zones. And a lot of people live there. I know what that's like. I see it every day. And it's not healthy long term. So be a voice, not an echo. You have something. You believe in something. Start living from there. And watch how life just kind of unfolds beautifully for you, not to you, through your... through alignment of what is needed for you and what you desire. Number 6, this one's pretty cool. Again, I don't know the author, so if you know who says this, would appreciate that. Let's see. This one, you are not rich. Here it is. You are not rich until you have the things that money can't buy. You are not rich until you have the things that money can't buy. So many people have that backwards. There's another quote that says, people are so broke, all they have is money. How many decisions does money rule for you, right? Like, not saying that money is important. I have money goals. But what really matters is the things that money can't buy. And those are the things that we tend to forget or take for granted, unfortunately. But really understanding that that's where the richness of life is. It's in the moments where you watch your kid learn something new. It's in the moments where your significant other does something sweet and unexpected for you. It's when your boss gives you that compliment that is maybe he hasn't ever, she hasn't ever, and in that one moment it meant the world to you. Maybe it's someone that is in the line in front of you and purchases your coffee. Those are the moments, right? And maybe we can be the source of those moments for others, but also being open to those moments happening to us also, right? That's the richness. The richness of waking up each day and deciding who you're going to be and not letting the day dictate who you are. That's rich. Taking care of your body, sleeping right, getting outside and being in nature. Not complicated, right? But you're not rich until you have the things that money can't buy. Money can't buy gratitude. Money can't buy integrity. Money can't buy vulnerability. These desirable characteristics that take courage and effort to do. is where the real richness is, because then money can't, because money can't buy it. It's hard for money to influence it, right? In a negative way, right? So if we just take the time to recognize more of those moments and how special they are, maybe we'll have more of them, or we'll create more of them for others. All right, number 7. This one is from Leland Valvan D. Wall. Hope I said that one right. And it goes, the degree to which a person can grow is directly proportional to the amount of truth they can accept about themselves without running away. The degree to which a person can grow is directly proportional to the amount of truth that they can accept about themselves without running away. There are so many layers there. 1, to have the person that could tell you the truth. 2, for you to listen. 3, for you to accept it. 4, for you to not run away. If you could do those things, imagine how quickly growth can come. Imagine how many cycles you would stop repeating and start breaking and changing your generational line, or the way that company has always done things, but now does it a new way. Or, the same 20 pounds that you've lost for the last 10 years finally is gone for good. Or the relationships that you keep finding yourself in, finally realizing what the truth of why that is, and then actually doing something about it, right? That's where the growth is. Growth is not in your understanding of what's the problem. Growth is in the behavior change that comes from what you know. Did you grow? Did you change behavior? Yes, then you grew. Did you grow? And when you were faced with the moment to change, you didn't? You didn't. Right? That's what it is. So, one more. Here we go. Number 8. This one's from Inky Johnson. And this one says, commitment is staying true to what you said you would do long after the mood you said it in has gone. Commitment is staying true to what you said you would do long after the mood you said it in has gone. How many times have you been at a workshop or a seminar or been around someone super inspiring and you're like, yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna do it, right? You're motivated, you're excited, you're inspired, you're feeling good, you're feeling like anything's possible. And then you wake up the next day and your alarm goes off and you instantly forgot everything that you just committed to. The emotion has changed, the emotion has gone, the context is gone, the person is gone, and now it's different. The commitment is saying, even when I don't feel like it, even when there are reasons to not do it, even when other people say it's okay to not do it, I still do it. That is commitment. That's what commitment is. That's how it shows up. That's how it gets fully expressed. And those are the opportunities. We have opportunities like that every single day. And with our fitness, with our work performance, with our marriage, with our, parenthood and in our kids. Like how many times are you saying things and not living up to what you said? Where's the integrity? Where's the holding yourself accountable, right? Yes, I understand that things change and situations can arise that weren't foreseen. And as long as those things are communicated, maybe then there's a justification there. But for most people's commitment and why it falls apart is because they're not honoring the commitment that they made, because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. And that's where we got to call ourselves out if we really want to lead a life of purpose, of mastery, of fulfillment, and actually be proud of the things that we do. We don't want to be the type of person that says one thing and does another. We don't want to be the type of person that says, man, I used to be good. I used to be skinny. I used to be fast. I used to make a lot of money. I used to, but then something happened. Well, something happens a lot of times and will probably continue to happen. And if you just stay stuck in what happened that's preventing you from getting you to where you want to go, then your focus is on the problem and not the solution, or not the future that is even more inspiring than the problem, right? And so we get the opportunity to commit to something in our life, to commit to the type of person we want to be, to commit to a partner, to commit to a purpose, a work of mastery, whatever it is, you get to choose. But commitment is one way. Another way of saying it is discipline. Commitment is the way to make it happen. Even when things come that we can't foresee, which they will, all the time, more than you'd like. One of the quotes said, I think it was Tony Robbins that said this. He goes, how many people of you in here love surprises? How many just love surprises? Like, people show up and they just gift you a surprise. And everyone raises their hands with all these smiles on their face. And he goes, liar. You guys are all liars. And everyone's like, what? Confused look on their faces. And he goes, you only like the surprises you like. But when a problem shows up, you get all defensive, you run away, and things change. But a problem is really just a surprise. A problem is an invitation to look at something different, to be called forward in a new way, to develop a different skill set, right? To shift us out of a certain behavior. So if you can live by these quotes, or at least take the ones that you felt resonated most with you, I think your life will shift in massive ways. And if this episode resonated with you, please like, comment, and share. If you haven't been to iTunes and given me a review yet, would love that deeply. Thank you so much. And share this podcast episode, or share this podcast in general with those that you feel are aligned with the values, the insights, the perspective that we talk about on the show. I would greatly appreciate it. I want to get this out to more people, because I know there's individuals out there who don't have the support, who don't have the community, who don't have a voice like this in their world, in their life, to act as a nudge, a reminder, a challenger. So I'd love to be that for that person. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the community. Go out there, be your own 1%, and I'll talk to you guys next time.